1, live.
Welcome to the Newman Show 2.0. As always, we are humbled to have you to tune in, to pay attention to what we're doing, to join us. Thank you to each and every one of you who indeed are tuning in. Today is, again, Wellness Wednesday. And on Wellness Wednesday, we feature a young man who is making a national and increasingly international name for himself. I'm talking about Nathaniel Jordan, the Minister of Wellness. Nathaniel, welcome to the broadcast, and I can't wait, man, until we can get into talk about the subject matter. But yes, welcome again today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Brother Rock, and welcome to everyone tuning in, and you all know what to do. This is a very, very important topic that we're about to talk about. So like and share. Subscribe to the Rock Newman Show 2.0. We'll be doing this every single Wednesday leading up to the Black Health Revolutionary event, Saturday, September 16th. And we want to remind you all it will not be live streamed because we want you to make the sacrifice to come and be a part of this incredible experience.
And Nate, I want to follow up on that with saying that I actually am in Washington, D.C. I have been here for a few days, and part of it is sort of helping to pull together all of the elements for September the 16th. And we are getting an extraordinary, you know what, Nate, let's start. Can we start this over?
Okay, well, it's live.
It's live. It's live. So what you are hearing, I'm in the hotel. You're going to have to give me a minute. Folks, we'll be right back to you. This is a really natural and live.
Okay. Yeah, we're live, brothers and sisters. Brother Rock Newman will be back while we're waiting for Brother Rock to come back. He's just taking care of the puppies. We are live. He is in Washington, D.C. Thank you for your prayers, and continue to pray for Brother Rock that we will have a very successful trip there as we solidify important media relations for September 16th. And I want to remind everyone tuning in now and after, like and share this information and to make your plans to be there. So Brother Rock is back. I was just telling them about the importance of you being in Washington, D.C., and we've all been keeping you in prayer, Brother Rock.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, I am here, just buttoning down all the necessary things, helping to pull together all we need for September the 16th. And I will say, and Nate, you obviously you're fully aware of this, but when we've done this before and put it on Eventbrite, and even though it's free, you know, it's like the people trickle in to get the tickets, and we've never had a response the times that we've done this like we've had now.
Yes.
And being here in DC, Washington, D.C., there is a buzz about this. There was much appreciation from the last one that we had on March the 18th. So now we're going to be doing it 6 months later.
Yes.
And so every component is being pulled together. There's just some excitement about this. And, you know, we talk about the message. Folks, I want to say to you that the message that the Minister of Wellness has been communicating is a simple but extraordinarily powerful message. It is the message of health and wellness and saving your life. What could be more important? And I feel that it's starting to really resonate. People are paying attention. And that's a good thing for all of us. So today's subject, Nate, before we talk much more, man, I want to get right into it. Big Pharma's war on melanin, war on Black folks, war on melanin. You studied this, and I'm going to open the floor up to you to start to share some of what has been your research, your concern, and some of your suggestions for a solution. Big
Yes. Well,
Pharma's war on
yes.
melanin. The floor is yours, Nate.
Yes. Why are we sicker than everybody else? That's the question. And that's something we can't ignore. And for any white people that's tuning in, you need to understand that I was on a big platform with a white guy. He asked me, he was talking about how we need to bind together because Big Pharma is trying to kill us all. Well, I thank you for that, white people, but we only can come together on truth. And the truth is that there is a targeting specifically against Black people and all melanated people. That is facts. And it is facts that the worst food is targeted to our people, and that Big Pharma's drugs, worst drugs, and lower quality of everything is targeted to Black people. The statistics are very clear that we're being slaughtered at a far more unprecedented rate than non-melanated people. So if we're going to come together, we can't just act like it's all the same, because it's not. Yes, Big Pharma wants $1 from anybody. They don't care if you're Black, blue, or green. But the elite that run Big Pharma, these are Europeans, and they do have an intense focus on their depopulation agenda, specifically on our people. And so I always give credence to the African health leaders who preceded me. And so I always say ashe to one of my favorites of all time, Dr. Layla Africa. And so everybody tuning in, again, share this video. There are 2 books that are essential for understanding Black health, and the fact that we were given a special gift called melanin that is different, and that the chemicals in the food, the chemicals in the prescription drugs specifically are seeking to Europeanize us. And this is my whole message about how Black empowerment must start with how we feed ourselves. So the first book here, this is Melanin, What Makes Black People Black, by Dr. Layla Africa, may he rest in peace. How to protect and nourish your melanin, the difference between Black and white people. Again, we're not trying to, it's just the truth. Okay, I don't, it's reverse racism to say that it's racist to try to act like there's not a difference between Africans and Europeans. There's a difference between a tiger and a lion. There's a difference in between different type of dogs. There's a different type of trees. There's different type of clouds. And so there are physiological differences, and we'll never end health disparities if we don't understand that. And so this is the first book everyone needs, by the great ancestor, Dr. Layla Africa, may rest in peace. And then also the second book is Nutricide, the nutritional destruction of the Black race. I really wish you could have had him on your show before he passed away a few years ago, Brother Rock. Dr. Layla Africa, Nutricide, the nutritional destruction of the Black race. And I love what he has on the tombstone. Here lies Mr. and Mrs. Negro. They ate themselves to death. And Dr. Layla Africa, he dedicated his entire life to trying to get us to appreciate this and understand the melanin that is secreted by the pineal gland, that makes us a very unique and special type of people. And that the food industry and the drug industry, both controlled by Big Pharma, they intentionally put chemicals inside of these foods that have a worse effect upon our people. And that is the war on melanin. And I'm going to go in even great uncensored detail on that September the 6th. But that's the basis of today's Wellness Wednesday podcast, is understanding that we can't do what they do, or we will continue to have worse outcomes. And when you allow yourself to have your melanin depleted, what happens is when you get sick, you turn into a state of a slave, to where now we are seeking healing from the very people that are seeking to destroy us. And that makes no sense at all. If we understand what the great Neely Fuller Jr. teaches, that every single component of our lives is a war against white supremacy, why in the world are we eating their food? And then when we get sick, we're going to their doctors, their hospitals. Why would we expect any other outcome except the outcomes that we see, and that the medical industry is the leading cause of death in this nation, from overprescribing toxic drugs, from overdiagnosing, underdiagnosing? Why do we expect any different outcomes from them, instead of learning how to eat according to how we're supposed to be eating to fuel our melanin? And then if we do get sick, we should have our own holistic units with herbs and fruits and vegetables and fasting that could restore us back to health. And that's the mission of the Minister of Wellness Ministries, is to get us to understand this critical issue, that you take away Black health, Black nutrition, you're stripping yourself of melanin. And so anything else that you try to protest, or any other type of civil rights action that you make, is going to be for naught when you're not feeding yourself properly.
You know, Nate, I remember hearing a statistic, but I don't remember the specifics of it. You may or may not. That we are, in America, we are, whatever it is, 12% of the world population, but we consume 75% or so. And these numbers may be off, but it was some outrageous number where it was disproportionately attributed to what Big Pharma, what the medical industry and Big Pharma is putting on everyone in society. And of course, you know, it just remains true that if America catches a cold, its people of color catch pneumonia. It's all, as you just pointed out, we always are the worst off in any kind of pandemic situation, any kind of outbreak, or what have you. Do you remember those statistics at all? Because I know I was shocked to hear that whatever our percentage of the world's population was, how we consume, for example, certainly more than 50% of the world's drugs and prescriptions.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary percentage. This nation is this is a drug. 1 in 5 Americans are taking a psychiatric drug. We have millions of 2-year-olds being put on anxiety drugs. More than half of all Black people take a blood pressure drug. And when you get to your age, Brother Rock, when you talk about Black people over the age of 65, it's about 80% of all Black people are taking blood pressure drugs. And I'm looking at the side effects that we went over last Wednesday of blood pressure drugs that include dizziness, lightheadedness, which means you're going to fall and break your hip, erection problems, nervousness, which is a mental disorder. So you're taking a drug for your blood pressure that causes nervousness, and then you think you have anxiety and go to a psychiatric doctor, and then the doctor puts you on a psych drug, and then that comes with a host of side effects. And the point is that every single one of these drugs, the chemistry of these drugs are designed to deplete melanin from our bodies, to make us unlike who we are, to keep us. This is a part of the subjugation of our people. The biggest way to keep a people in slavery is controlling their health. If a people are mentally and physically sick, how can you rise up? It doesn't matter if you protest against the police. If you're sick and they get tired of you, all they have to do is release a virus on our black behinds, and our immune systems are too weak. So it doesn't matter if they feel we're making too many, if they get tired of us in other areas, which they never will until we rise up in our health, which is why this message is centered more. Then they'll give you everything else, because they know all we have to do is continue to poison the water, the food, because they depend on us in the end. In the end, the most staunch black activists at the end of their life, you are still coming to us and giving us your money, and we're still killing you systematically with our food and with our drugs. And that's what I'm seeking to end, is to break us free from those shackles so we can truly be free.
You know, Nate, I feel comfortable enough with the audience that we have that tune in to these Wellness Wednesdays and tune into the Rock Newman Show 2.0. I'm not somebody that feels as if I sit high and look low. We're all a part of the struggle here.
Yes.
And I'm going to take the liberty to say that I'm in pain right now. I'm in pain because a dear friend posted on Facebook. I'm going to give his name. A dear friend posted on Facebook yesterday about, he's a guy about 60 years old, and he was playing in a senior league in Jamaica. He was visiting Jamaica, where he's from. He was a Howard University All-American soccer player, and he went on to get his law degree from Harvard University. And he became, I think, the highest ranking ranking black person in the Marriott Corporation. He was the secretary of the company and its senior legal counsel. I'm talking about Bancroft Gordon. Some of you may know him. So after he posted the video of him scoring a goal the day before, which was Sunday, he posted that yesterday, which was Tuesday. Obviously, today is Wednesday. And we had the horrifying news this morning that while sitting at dinner in Jamaica, he had an aneurysm and he died at the table. And I know that I'm far from a medical expert, but I know an aneurysm has got to do something with some kind of clotting.
Yeah.
And he was the picture of health. When I had a nickname for him, and it was Fatso. And I called him Fatso because he was so trim and fit at 58, 59. I mean, you looked at him and you might have been thinking that you were looking at a 28 or 29-year-old man. Beautiful brother, beautiful smile, very, very accomplished, but very, very down to earth. And there he is right there. That's Bancroft Gordon right there. And just yesterday, we lost him. And, you know, I don't know what caused the aneurysm. And I'm sure, you know, obviously you would never personalize it and say you do it either, but I know that you know some of the reasons that we have aneurysms. And just while we're talking about it, without talking specifically him, because he hasn't been examined, there's been no autopsy. But Nate, what would be some of the things that would cause an aneurysm to cause us to lose this beautiful brother?
Well, first of all, my sincere condolences to you, Brother Rock. for the loss. And yes, you could tell he was a highly accomplished brother. So an aneurysm is a weak or thin spot on the artery in the brain that balloons or bulges out and fills with blood. So it is another sign of the silent killer of high blood pressure, and it's stress being put on. So it's a cardiovascular disease of the brain, and one of the problems with the satanic American diet that kills a lot of our people with these cardiovascular brain a brain aneurysm, Brother Rock, is really just another name for a hemorrhagic stroke. And I was trying to find my clip on salt, because processed white sugar is extremely dangerous to the blood vessels, especially in the brain. And so the bulging aneurysm, it puts pressures on the nerves of brain tissue, and it can burst or rupture, spilling blood into the surrounding tissue, called a hemorrhage. And so why don't they just call it a hemorrhagic stroke? Well, the European medicine industry, what they love to do is to create a bunch of different names so that they can have different specialties and different doctors. So that's what a brain aneurysm is that a blood vessel, a very delicate blood vessel in the brain, has so much pressure on it because the blood had thickened and put pressure on the brain that it burst. And they're very, very deadly. They claim that Khalid Muhammad passed away from that. And one of the leading causes of strokes, hemorrhagic strokes, and high blood pressure is our overconsumption of sodium. Meaning, Brother Rock, that I remember it's an epidemic in our community with. I remember growing up, and there was a guy in my church, and he was a deacon, and he was very, very fit also. And he was jogging as he usually did, and he dropped dead of a massive heart attack at 66. And he was another one. We hear this all the time. There was a guy that was a trainer on one of these weight loss competition shows, The Biggest Loser, and he was real fit, one of the trainers, and he had a heart attack, and then he went plant-based. So it's very, very common for people who are very diligent in keeping their calories low and working out, but they are over consuming processed sugar, processed salt, and then the animal protein and the saturated fat. And the point is that the moderation diet does not work. Trying to moderate, let me show you the breakdown of the Satanic American diet. Trying to moderate the Satanic American diet, where you're eating mostly meat because you believe you need meat for protein. That's 30% of the Satanic American diet is animal protein, which has no nourishment to our body. And that fills the blood vessels up with mucus and pus. Then we have 55% of the SAD or processed foods, 4% are whole grains, which now are laced with glyphosate. Only 11% of the Satanic American diet of vegetables, fruits, nuts, and beans. And if you reduce that down to the most powerful food for melanin, fresh fruit, is probably about 2%. So what most people make the mistake is, Brother Rock, is that they will keep their diet according to this ratio, but they will have the discipline to keep the calories low, work out in the gym. And so the appearance is a fit, lean body, but internally the blood vessels, especially those delicate blood vessels, are being destroyed by the saturated fat, the cholesterol, and too much sodium. And the Satanic American diet is undefeated. It doesn't care how much you work out. It doesn't care about your abs. It doesn't care about your personality. If you're eating this manner every single day, And then you combine that with the fact that most Black people are deficient in vitamin D3, which is important for fueling melanin. And that's how we get tragedies, such as this.
Yeah. So, Nate, I want to share something with you that I don't know if I have done in our private or public talks. But I got a call a couple of months ago from someone that I've done business with since 2008. And it's someone that was very prominent administratively in the in the music world, a graduate of an HBCU, someone who I've known to be, very conscious. And he shared with me some information. He started off by talking about the young man in Georgia who was found dead, suffocated, killed in a wrestling mat. And he talked about how, from the various autopsies that were done, that one of the things that when the coroner opened up his body at some point, when the family demanded an open autopsy, that the organs were gone. Well, he talked about that, and he never made any specific accusations, but he had found evidence of people across the country having autopsies and organs being taken, and these people didn't have any authorization. They didn't give any previous authorization to have their organs taken. And he was doing some study on the value of melanin.
Yes.
And his concern, he had a very close ally from the medical industry who had also come from an HBCU, who had become increasingly suspicious of organs being taken from people. And what was happening is they were starting to study and starting to research to see whether or not that the value of melanin was taken. Did that have anything to do with some people coming up dead and then some organs missing? And he said something that I didn't even know existed. I frankly didn't know that melanin was traded on the stock exchange.
Yeah.
And he kept saying melanin is more valuable than an ounce of melanin is more valuable than an ounce of gold. And at that point, I thought, oh, wait a minute, he might be going a little too far, And I looked it up and I found that it was traded and that its value at that time, I don't know what it is 2 months later, its value at that time was more so than gold. And then when I think about what is the God of those that are in power being money. Money is the God of those that ultimately sit in places of control. I didn't come to a conclusion, but I want to share with you that I'm looking at that more and more. And when our research is done, we're going to do a show on it. And look, if we find that that's not the case at all, we're going to go where the facts are. We're going to take the facts and report on them. But I'll tell you something, the more that I've looked at this thing, I've talked to some highly trusted medical professionals who say they're not aware of this. They're not aware of melanin being harvested from Black people. I've talked to other folks said they absolutely know that it is.
Yes.
We're going to continue to look at this, to study this, to research this, and come back with what we find what we see, the reality of what we see. If it's horrific, damning, and criminal, we're going to talk about it. If what has been suggested is all wrong, we're going to talk about it. But it is something I'll tell you that I certainly am concerned about. And it just happened today. You're speaking to Big Pharma's war on Black health and the war on melanin. Perhaps it's not a coincidence.
No, it's not. And please like and share, brothers and sisters. Like and share. Exit the chat. Like, share this video. Please share this important video. Subscribe to the Rock Newman Show 2.0. Make sure you have this book, Melanin, What Makes Us Black. Excellent book. He said, Dr. Layla, Africa, he said Black people need to know the basics about melanin and how to nourish melanin so they can get some positive use from it. They are controlled by their failure to realize that the Black race is a melanin dominant race. The key to controlling Black people is to reduce their Blackness, reduce their very ability to be Black, which will directly affect their ability to be human and seek what is humanly theirs, freedom. Black people are a race nourishing themselves as if they are Caucasians. Since the Caucasians have the least amount of melanin, then Black people that eat as if they are Caucasians are getting the least amount of nourishment to the melanin. Therefore, Black people are anti-melanin and consequently fighting against themselves, fighting their own melanin. In this writing, I have attempted to reveal melanin's properties and how the human body biochemically uses and nourishes it. That's the late great prophet of African health, Dr. Layla Africa. May he rest in peace.
Nate, you mentioned the word earlier. Did you use a term called pineal gland?
Yes, the pineal gland.
The pineal gland. I mean, that struck a chord with me. I happened late one night to be driving. I don't know who the host of the show was. I don't know who the guest that was talking about it. But I know that I was fascinated by them speaking to the uniqueness of Black people and the pineal gland. I don't know how to rehash what they said and put it all together, but I know that I was just fascinating that there was something that the Africans had that was different, that was special, that was protective, that by consumption of much of the garbage that we eat and drink,
yes,
was helping to destroy.
Yes.
And you're saying, is that the pineal gland? And do you know the function of that?
Yes, the pineal gland, the Europeans exalt the pituitary gland, but the pineal gland is the master gland for our people that secretes melanin. But the problem is that, as you stated, the pineal gland is extremely sensitive to what we eat. The pineal gland, and which secretes melanin, can be easily manipulated to work against us when we're eating processed foods, tortured animal products, and then especially taking prescription drugs. And they know this. So the pineal gland is the source of our power, and it can be deadened or it can be strengthened by what we eat. And they know this. This is known, which is why if a Black household, they say, receives 5 times the amount of junk food commercials as in a white household. Vitamin D3, the lack of vitamin D3 is destructive to the pineal gland. White salt, white sugar, these processed oils. Next week, we're going to be talking about soul food. And I know we're going to piss a lot of people off, but these are pineal gland melanin destroying substances. And so It's very important to study, the study books that go into detail about the chemistry. It's somewhat complex, but not complex, and that's why I recommend the books, because it gives you a basic understanding of the chemistry behind melanin. Me being a preacher, my specialty isn't so much in the chemistry as to make it as plain as possible. And to make it as plain as possible, everything that we're taught by the Europeans is a lie about health. There's nothing that they teach us about health that's true. Nothing. Everything that they teach us about health is a lie. You don't need to eat meat for protein. You don't need to eat meat for B12. You don't need to eat meat to be strong. You don't need dairy to have strong bones. You don't need to take drugs to be healthy, and you don't need needles to have a strong immune system. Everything we're taught about health and wellness is a lie. And and many have literally stressed themselves out trying to get us to understand that. And of course, understanding on a biochemical level why it's so important for us to get off this satanic American diet, which of course they've made as addicting as heroin. So that's really what we're dealing with, is that the stuff is just our weapon that's killing us is as addicting as heroin. And that's really where the problem comes in.
Nathaniel, while I have been here in Washington, D.C., and talking to some executives that are looking to partner with us and to support you and the incredible message, they recognize the very basic message that you're trying to deliver. On the one hand, that is so simplistic, but on the other hand, that is so powerful. Your health is your wealth, and you speak from that position of a minister, the biblical principles of health. Let thy food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food. I have been able to give them the example that our last Wellness Wednesday produced when the sister came on and shared, Sister Mary came on and shared her testimony. I was speaking yesterday to someone that was convalescing, that was recovering from a debilitating surgery, and who now had started to the person couldn't walk for a good while, and now they're able to walk. And I shared part of Sister Mary's testimony. Folks, if you didn't see it, those of you that are tuned in this Wednesday, July the 19th, last Wednesday's program, July the 12th, you could find that. You could find it on Rock Newman Show 2.0, and they can come to your website to see it also, right?
Yes, sir. The Minister of Wellness. For those of you tuning in, make sure you not only subscribe to Rock Newman Show 2.0, but subscribe to the Minister of Wellness YouTube channel, the Minister of Wellness YouTube channel.
Well, it's just so still stuck with me hearing this 74-year-old woman talk about how she had gone well over a decade in just abject pain and discomfort, and being sometimes bedridden, not being able to walk for an extended period of time. And she came upon some of the philosophy, some of the teaching of Nathaniel Jordan. And he walked her through and talked to her about what she should be doing to try to put it in check and overcome what she was told was a permanent,
crippling rheumatoid arthritis.
Yes. And how she had overcome overcome that. I encourage you all to see it. But Nate, if you could capsulize when she came to you, the condition that she was in, and how you coached her through getting to a point where I'm telling you, when that sister was speaking last week, she was glowing. She talked about the new life that she had, the energy that she had, how good she felt. She actually shared with us the intimate details of she would always have her blinds and windows closed because she felt so terrible. She didn't want to have to talk to anybody. She didn't want to have to see anyone. And now it's a new day. So Nate, if I don't mean to put you on the spot, but if you could share with our audience today what her condition was when you first met her, what you prescribed for her to do, and what she had said to you and what she said to our audience last week.
Yes, I encourage Mama Jones, who's in the chat, and we look forward to seeing Mama Jones September 16th. She's just one of many success stories I've been blessed to have. She's been vocal, brothers and sisters, but she came to the ministry a few months ago, and her hands were balled up in pain, and she couldn't even use a juicer. And so I health coached her, and I told her to eat nothing but red fruits. Which I'll pull up here. I told her to eat nothing but red fruits for 40 days. And I taught her about the 3 different classes of fruit. Now we're talking about how to fuel your melanin. Okay. And so the fruits are the fuel for melanin, because melanin is fueled by the sugar, the fructose in fruits. It binds to it and it will turn you into a super black person. Now we're getting into real black power, what you see on the screen right here. And so the grapes and the red grapes, they are astringents and start pulling and tugging on that mucus and dead pus inside of Mama Jones' blood vessels and cells. The red berries, the antioxidant fruits that go in and kill toxins, and then the melons, especially watermelon, hydrative fruits, and it goes in the cells and clean them out. So in the course of 40 days, a 74-year-old sister who had been bedridden for years in crippling pain, she went from not being able to move at all to now she's a juicing machine in physical therapy, and she's going to come September 16th, Washington, D.C. We probably going to have to put her on the spot and ask her to stand up and walk around, because that's a miraculous, incredible testimonial. And that type of healing, my passion, brothers and sisters, is that type of healing is available to each and every last one of you watching. What we have to do is understand the greatest weapon of mass destruction against Black people right now in 2023 is what we eat. The intentional destruction of our bodies through foods that are so addicting, people would rather die than stop eating. We need to face this monster head on. We need to come with solutions so that everyone can be like Mama Jones. And of course, she's just one of many testimonials. And I do want to remind everyone tuning in that September the 16th, me and Brother Rock Newman agreed to not have a live stream, because we know that if you make the sacrifice to be there at the nation's capital, it is an experience that is going to change your life forever. This is the official start, because me and Brother Rock, we are together once again after being apart for 5 years. And unless he gets tired of me, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to stay with my brother until the end. And so this is the official kickoff of the Black Health Revolution that we're trying to take nationwide. So make sure you're there. Mama Jones, she says she's coming. She's going to be there.
Yeah, and I co-sign on that. I co-sign on that 100%. I mean, that I can't get that testimony out of my head. I cannot get that testimony out of my head. And the idea that that can be duplicated, and Nate, you know, as a person that's always been a competitor, you know, I want to talk to what might be considered some of the most advanced medical professionals.
Yeah.
And say, look, here is a reality. This is not. I remember Dr. Sebi one time. Dr. Sebi said, I don't talk theory. I don't talk theory. I talk what's real.
Right.
And what's real was Mama Jones' testimony.
Yes.
And what she had, all those medicines that they had prescribed for her, and they had prescribed for her a life of doom and gloom and intense pain until she died. That's what, hey, this is all, you got an autoimmune deficiency, and here's what you can expect for the rest of your life.
Right.
And she continued to be a woman of faith and believing that there was a way.
Yes.
And she tried your way, and it was like a miracle happened. So when I talk about being competitive, you know, I would like to choose a medical professional who has been taught through medical school and the history of how they've done it, to put up someone that you've prescribed medicine for, where you've gotten the same result. And the thing is, all she needs to do, what she needs to do and is doing with a big smile on her face, is continuing to allow food to be her medicine, and her medicine is her food. She's not hooked to any kind of drugs. She's not having to spend crazy money for this big pharma and all of their lobbyists who swarm Capitol Hill like the thugs and criminals that they are. Yes. Being able to push forth policies, being able to push forth promotion and advertising of these drugs. You know, they advertise these drugs on every TV show that exists.
Everyone.
And it's, you see people, you know, with these fake imagery about how well they're doing now, but right at the end, they'll give you a 5-second or an 8-second disclaimer, except the side effects, you know, will have your left foot stuck in your right ear and all kinds of, and you might have suicidal thoughts. If you have suicidal thoughts, call this number right here. From the goddamn drugs that they're giving you, that's going to tell you that they're going to fix you, but they're warning you. If you got a damn brain in your head, perhaps you shouldn't do it. If the side effects are going to be worse than what they're trying to treat. Nathaniel Jordan came through with a simplistic strategy that changed this woman's life. Now, I'm focusing on her, but obviously we are aware of several other testimonies that will blow your mind. A young man losing 140 some pounds in 10 months.
Oh, he lost over 200 pounds. This brother
this
on
gentleman
his
here?
Yes, he went from he started at 600 pounds and he's at under 400 pounds right now. So he's at over 200 pounds in his health journey in a couple years.
I was talking about the guy who was so enamored with you, who was so impressed by how you coached him into health and losing 100+ pounds in less than a year, that he flew on his own dime, not my dime, not your dime, on his own dime. And he was the kind of humble person where he wasn't coming to try to show off or anything. What he was doing, he just wanted to say thank you.
Yes.
And he didn't want to come up on the stage. He didn't want to do any of that. He just wanted to see thank you. And I saw some photos, and then I saw him, and I could not believe it was the same person.
Came from California.
So, you know, folks, if it sounds like I, as, you know, sort of OG, if you will, and with this gray hair and kind of been around the world and had a whole lot of experiences, that I'm excited about this message that Nathaniel Jordan, the Minister of Wellness, is delivering. Yeah, you're right. I am. I really am. It helps gives purpose to what I'm doing, because I think, and I said to a gentleman last night, I said, this message is so powerful, and when you really think about it, yeah, we're going to put our shoulder behind it and do the best that we can, because it's talking about creating health and wellness and saving lives.
Yes.
What greater ministry is there?
Nothing. Yeah, nothing.
Folks, I'm going to say, we're going to wrap up here. Nate, I don't know if you have any parting words or sort of a rewrap of Big Pharma's war on black health and war on melanin.
Yes, sir. And before I go over a few announcements as we come to an end, family, again, like, and share. But the black race, undereducation, diseducation, dysfunctional, and miseducation about melanin merely reflects one particle of their white domination and post-traumatic colonialism trauma and post-traumatic slavery trauma. Black people must know thyself, and to know yourself is to know melanin. And so that's a powerful closing statement. So just real quick, brothers and sisters, make sure you're not only subscribed to the Rock Newman Show 2.0. My YouTube channel is the Minister of Wellness. I do free health coaching for you on Mondays and Wednesdays. So tonight, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, I invite you on the Minister of Wellness YouTube channel for free health coaching. For those of you who have questions, I have the answers for your healing. So join me for free health coaching at the Minister of Wellness YouTube channel. And when you visit the ministerofwellness.com, if you've never registered your email, that's very important. And when you visit the ministerofwellness.com and register your email, I will give you a free ebook, My Biblical Principles That Eradicate Obesity and All Disease. You can get that for free when you visit the ministerofwellness.com and register your email. You can also register for September the 16th at the ministerofwellness.com. No live streaming. Be there at the nation's capital, September the 16th. And then finally, we do have and also September 16th will be the release of one of two of my new books, exposing the slave theology of the Black church concerning health and nutrition. And then at the ministerofwellness.com, we do have powerful products, vitamins, minerals, herbal extracts, sea moss that can help you in your healing journey. So go to the ministerofwellness.com, and there you can shop for what you and your loved ones need in your healing journey. And I thank you in advance for your love and support.
And that wraps us for today, folks. We always genuinely appreciate you tuning in and sharing our message with others. Until we see you again, we're going to be signing off, and the Rock Newman Show 2.0 welcomes you back the next time around. God bless.
God bless you all.